It's now happening, guys. Some of the biggest oil layoffs is here. 2024, we're just in February. It's around the Valentine's season. And guess what? We got tens of thousands of tech workers. The banking layoffs are starting. And now oil is being added onto the layoff list. It finally happened. Chevron fires 9,000 workers. In fact, Texas Oil right now is having a moment. It's a $1.5 billion restructuring plan and basically means that 20% of the entire workforce of Chevron will be laid off. 9,000 job cuts, this is a big deal. I've never seen this before. We're going to be seeing the majority of the job cuts happening in Texas, but it will include places like Colorado, Utah, and California. And these layoffs are just the beginning, as some of the biggest companies on planet Earth, even in the makeup section, is firing thousands and thousands of workers. Right now, we are seeing a big pandemic. We are seeing the rise of low-paying jobs, and high-paying jobs and good jobs like Chevron, for example, are disappearing. It's pretty easy to find a Starbucks or Chipotle job for $15 an hour, but it's pretty difficult finding a job at Chevron, Meta, or a really good startup. It's near impossible. Chevron's laying off American workers as part of a multi-billion-dollar cost-cutting plan. In fact, many of these jobs are also being sent to India. Next time someone tells you that the reason jobs are offshored is due to shortage of skilled workers, that's not really the case. In fact, you clearly see that Chevron is spending billions of dollars in places like India when they could easily spend some money on here domestically and hire some US workers. But of course, that's just too expensive. And it's not just that, a crap ton of companies are also hiring people overseas using the H-1B visa program. Even Tesla does it, because hiring domestic Americans are just too expensive. Even companies like John Deere, which is super American. When you think of tractors, John Deere, you think of America. But they're opening up a plant in Mexico. Now, here's the thing. It's fine for companies to do it, but at the end of the day, the biggest damage is going to be American jobs. As you can see in the unemployment numbers, they're really not that bad. But what the unemployment numbers don't tell you is a lot of people just don't have good jobs anymore. A lot of domestic Americans are kind of stuck right now. A lot of people are working jobs that pay $30,000 to $50,000, which isn't exactly a good wage. People want jobs that are $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. But a lot of these jobs in these big corporations are just disappearing. Now, Chevron itself is also in a little bit of a trouble. It's one of the best dividend stocks out there, and you clearly see that the stock price has always done incredibly well under good leadership, but the stock price has literally not moved from the past 3 years. It's basically just been stuck. It's not really moving at all. And when you look at Chevron, profits are declining massively. Chevron's fourth quarter in 2024 declined a lot compared to the previous quarter and year. And the adjusted earnings were about $3.6 billion, a 44% decrease from the same quarter in 2023, which is really scary. You can clearly see why the stock just isn't going up anymore, when in the past, the stock price has always went up slow and steady. Like every couple years, the stock price will always go up a little bit. But now, for the first time, Chevron stock is actually just flat. It's kind of just plateaued. And with the bad earnings on the horizon, many investors aren't confident, which is causing Chevron to do this massive restructuring plan to save billions of dollars. Jobs are also being sent away. This is the type of situation that we're seeing here. And remember, oil layoffs doesn't just consist of Chevron, it also consists of BP, which is also trying to cut about $2 billion in costs and expenses by 2026 by laying off almost 5,000 workers and 3,000 contractor positions, which makes BP one of the biggest layoffs of the year, but it's easily been beat by Chevron, which basically topped it and fired out 9,000 workers. We thought that Meta and Amazon and Microsoft had a lot of layoffs, but boy, did Chevron beat them all out of the water. And so far, H-1B visas are also getting bigger and bigger by the day for some of the biggest corporations in the world, as some of the biggest companies will much rather hire somebody overseas than hire somebody domestically. It's cheaper, it's easier, and so far Americans are just noticing what's going on. So Can we get the jobs back and under control? We don't really know. Right now, there's not a lot of jobs available. In fact, some of the best paying jobs are basically gone. And for people who want to work for a company like Chevron and make a decent wage, well, you're out of luck because these companies are only doing layoffs and they are not hiring anyone anytime soon.